Now we have with us on the program Joyce Ogunyemi, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yes.
Who is involved with the New Chance Global Initiative. So thanks for coming on the program, Joyce.
Thank you.
So we had your colleague Funmi on a couple of times, but maybe you could give us your own perspective on how the organisation started.
Yes. So Funmi actually was the one with the vision, and so she thought she wanted to support people with physical challenges, so people who could not walk. And she said, well, why don't we just start to collect crutches and walking aids and, other equipment to support people to be able to move, including wheelchairs. And so she approached Kappa Hospital. And they said, okay, well, yes, we can give you some of these things, and you just need to partner with us. And that was how NCGI started.
Yeah, she said she was kind of dismayed, really, that they were throwing away equipment like wheelchairs and crutches, very useful stuff that was being discarded because it was maybe out of date and so on,
Yes. And so this way, with NCGI, New Chance Global Initiative, you are able to actually recycle those equipment, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Because there's a shortage of that, or there was a shortage of such equipment in Nigeria, was there?
Oh, there is still a shortage of it. A lot of people are not able to get access to walking aids, wheelchairs, crutches, and the likes. So it was just a brilliant opportunity to be able to support those people. And now a lot of them are able to get walking aids. It is expensive to ship down. That's the only down thing about the project. But then a few shipments have gone, to Nigeria in their thousands. So you can imagine how many people that would support, in their daily living. Yeah. So it is a very laudable initiative.
Yeah, and she was also saying that she had to pay herself for the storage for a long time, didn't she?
Yeah, so storage remains and still remains, a big challenge in this work, because you don't have a lot of places where you can keep stuff without having to pay. So someone like me, yes, I do have a house here in Ireland, but then I haven't got the space, and then she also has, she has some space, but it's still not enough. You can imagine having to keep 1,000 crutches. That is a lot. And then with wheelchairs. So yes, storage remains a big challenge. So we're not able to pick up some of those items from Kappa Hospital and the other, what's it called, the Clearwater place. So it is, if we can get space, yes, we will be able to pick up these items, and then we will be able to, ship them down.
Very good.
Yes.
And would there be hopes of getting equipment from more hospitals, say, or around the country, or if and so on? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So we're looking at partnering with any hospital that will partner with us, really. St. James's, she's already approached them. Beaumont, she's already approached them. And so we hope that by the time they give us the go-ahead, to partner, it will be absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
And she was talking about the shipping, that it's hugely expensive, isn't it, to actually ship equipment out? Yeah.
Yes, it's very expensive to ship down because, at that end, you have to pay some money as well. At this end, you also have to pay some money. So even trying to transport the equipment from the storage to the port, that's another cost. So it is a lot. It's a very expensive venture. But then we're quite confident that we're able to do it.
Yeah. And financially, is the organisation getting on its feet? Is it managing to raise funds to cover all those costs?
Yes, well, she's done most of it herself.
Yeah.
And then with the board of directors now, we're asking them to chip in whatever they can, which is very important. And then we're also, reaching out to other partners to be able to support the initiative. And we're quite hopeful that will happen.
Yeah. So donations obviously would be very important.
Absolutely, and that's why, we needed to come on this program for awareness. So the more people that are aware, the better for the organization. So that way they know that, they can support us in whichever way they can,
Yeah, she was saying that attitudes to disability in Nigeria kind of creating some difficulties at the start. People are unwilling to use crutches and so on, and wheelchairs. There's a sort of a stigma, is there?
Yes, I mean it remains a big challenge because with physical challenges in Nigeria, it is not a good place to be.
Yeah,
and you don't really want to be there. But then life happens, doesn't it? So, and the kind of stigma that we have around that is also very, it's not encouraging at all. So a lot of people still look down on people with physical challenges, disabled people, if you like, people living with difficulties, in their movement.
Yes.
So it is a big, it's a big challenge, in this line of work, because people look down on, people who are not able to move. So, yes, it is.
And they get the worst of life.
Yes. And I think that's why we need more of these kind of initiatives to be able to support, people's living, basically. Yes.
And does it take, those attitudes are still there? I mean, it takes a long time to change people's kind of outlook in that regard, is it? Yeah.
Yes, I suppose it is, because sometimes people think that maybe it's because of what you've done in the past, some sin that you've committed, and that's why you have these physical challenges, which isn't so, is it?
Of course,
no.
Because in this part of the world, you have, anything could go wrong. People have accidents.
Absolutely,
on the motor accidents, or even people are born with disability, and that's the reality. But then in Africa or in Nigeria, specifically, there's still a huge stigma around it. So people think that it's because you've done something bad in your past life, or maybe your parents have committed some kind of sin, and that's why you're born with this kind of condition, which isn't true.
Of course.
So some people are born without arms, some people are born without legs, and it's not because of any sin that you've committed or because of any sin that your parents have committed. Right. It's just what it is. So yes, we can only change this. We can take it one day at a time, to orientate people, to create awareness around physical disabilities.
And as regards social welfare, there isn't very much, is there, in Nigeria?
No, unfortunately, Nigeria is not a social welfare state.
Right.
And so that way people have to do stuff themselves.
Yeah.
And there's nothing bad in that. But then when you're not able to actually walk, that restricts your movement, doesn't it? So even if you were going to go find some job somewhere, you still need to be able to transport yourself from whatever location that you are to that particular area of work. So that remains a big challenge.
So people would be very dependent on their families to support them.
Absolutely.
In that situation.
Yes. People you have to depend on your family, your neighbors, and initiatives like this.
Yeah.
But there's only so much that you can do with initiatives like this if you're having challenges having to transport, and then when you transport down to Nigeria, then having to distribute like some of the crutches that we got that we transported. Some of them are still on site.
Wow.
They've not been distributed.
Right.
A lot has been distributed in the northern part of Nigeria, and then we're still waiting for the distribution of the others in the southern part.
Yeah, because Nigeria is such a big country, there must be a lot of logistical problems just getting the stuff.
Absolutely. You've got 6 geopolitical zones.
Yeah.
So you've got the north-south, you've got the north-central, you've got the southwest, you've got the southeast, you've got the south-south, and then you've got north-central.
Yes.
So it is huge. It's a big country, in terms of logistics. So trying to transport even from Lagos, so Lagos is about the only port that we can transport to at the moment. So transporting that from the southwest all the way to the north central, that is huge costs. So it's about a 12-hour drive from the southwest to the north central.
And what's the infrastructure like, roads and railways and so on? Are those reasonably good, or?
Well, the Nigerian government is trying to improve, the rail system at the moment.
Yeah.
It's not still where it should be, but then they're getting there. But then the roads are extremely bad. They're very very bad conditions. And then kidnappings along the road as well.
Dear.
So all of those things, come into play when you're trying to do this line of work, and you've got to be careful.
So it takes a certain amount of bravery to do this kind of work in
some
parts. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you fundraise? Or
Yes.
do you fundraise?
So that Fumi has done most of the work. She's been the one, just using her own, funds and all that. But then the plan is now to reach out to organizations, to be able to fundraise and to be able to improve logistics for the organization, so that people who actually need these equipments, so they can get them.
Yeah.
So just bringing the help to where it is absolutely needed.
So what about your own background? How did you get involved in this kind of work?
Okay, so I'm from I've worked for different NGOs. So in Ireland, I worked for Barnardo's.
Right.
And then when I worked in Nigeria, I worked for the Human Rights Law Service. And then I've also worked with different organizations, just trying to network, to promote networking activities among different organizations. So my background is international development.
Right.
So again, bringing help to where help is needed. And I would have, worked with different international development agencies in the past as well.
So you would have a certain amount of expertise that you were able to bring to the work that the initiative is doing in Nigeria.
Yes, it is an absolute pleasure to be able to serve as a member of the board with NCGI. Because yes, like you said, bringing a lot of expertise in terms of fundraising, grant writing or proposal writing. Yes, it is my area of specialty, so I'm able to support in that sense.
Right, and so you brought in Nigeria itself. You brought people on board then to do the main work in Nigeria itself. Yeah.
Yes, so we've got the Nigerian arm. So we've got a board of trustees as well in Nigeria.
Right.
So they are the ones in charge of distributing the equipment once they get to Nigeria, and then they partner with different local communities. So even in distributing food as well, because that's also part of the mandate.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're also looking at distributing clothes, in the near future. Again, clothing, people who are not able to afford, in that sense.
So the food distribution would have to be done in Nigeria itself, wouldn't it? You couldn't really transport food you wouldn't be practical with it, yeah.
Exactly. So in July, we did have like an outreach program with a particular community in Ogun State, in Abeokuta specifically. And then the next outreach program will be in December. So about 2 weeks before Christmas. So again, bringing food to that community, local food, supporting widows and old people and people who are not, able to support themselves in that sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
And clothes, that's another aspect of what you do, yeah.
Yes. So we're hoping to be able to have a clothes bank in the near future. So as part of our 5-year strategic plan, which is what we're launching starting from January 2024. So we have our plan from then all the way for another 5 years. So that is very huge. It's big on our strategic plan to be able to bring food and clothing to where they're needed.
And that certain areas are more in need, are there, than others?
Yes, absolutely. So again, it's being able to identify the communities where we need to partner, or some communities might not engage, but then we're hoping that a lot of them will engage, because some people might, feel that, oh, I don't need food, even though they do need food.
Of course.
So again, it's about, trying to protect their dignity, isn't it?
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's 2 things up now in Ireland. One, people throw clothes away.
Oh, yeah.
They do that all the time.
They throw clothes away?
Just throw them away in the bin.
Wow.
When they get too small or when to get out of fashion or anything like that.
Oh, wow.
They
Just
throw
encourage
them away.
people, if you're listening, please don't throw your
So
clothes
there's a
away.
big opportunity. And the other big opportunity is when you're talking about crutches and wheelchairs and all that type of stuff. I know from experience, I've had 7 operations on my knee. Every single time they give you crutches and they never take them back. So I
Right.
don't know what the reason is. They just buy new ones and use them.
Oh,
Same goes for wheelchairs when they're used for temporary use or when older people die
yes.
and no longer need them. They won't take them back. So that's a huge opportunity to reach out to people.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you're out there listening, you have crutches, you have wheelchairs that you're not using, please send them our way. Just tell us where you are. We'll come pick them up.
It's a terrible waste, isn't it? I mean, because I think Funmi mentioned about skip, that she took some stuff from a skip, that they were probably crutches or whatever, you know.
Yes, yes. And those things are very useful, you know.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know that people don't use them again, you know, after they get well or they're on their feet, you know. But our initiative is a way to, you know, recycle those items or those equipment and, you know, get people who need it, you know, get them to
Very
be able to
important.
access it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Strange people think if something is not brand new, then it's no good. I
It's
think.
just not good.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know why they can't, when you bring back crutches, just alcohol wipe them and
Yes.
bring them back into use.
Yes.
There's just no logic to it.
Yes. Again, it's all about, you know, renewal, you know,
Yeah.
being able to reuse
Yeah.
the equipments. Yes.
Reuse and recycle.
Exactly.
You'd think in the hospital that they should have some kind of a storage unit just for, you know,
Crazy.
medical equipment that's been brought back, you know.
Yes. Yes.
I some wheelchairs as well, because wheelchairs have mechanical wheelchairs. They probably, when people get motorised wheelchairs, they probably just throw away the mechanical ones,
Yes.
the older fashioned ones.
But for
Yes.
people in Nigeria, for example,
Yes.
who need them,
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
go get them.
Absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of people, you'll see them just even bum shuffling, you know. But then if we were to get wheelchairs or crutches, they'll be able to, you know, literally either stand and, you know, use the crutches, and then it makes their movement faster.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, or, I mean, even if they were to get the wheelchairs, that would be able to help them, you know, in their mobility.
yeah.
And so, I mean, that would totally ease their suffering, wouldn't it?
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Funmi mentioned that some disabled people use skateboards, and which sounds pretty dangerous, you know, as a way of
Yes.
getting around, you know.
Yes. Yes.
That a wheelchair would make might be much safer, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
Definitely would. Yes. Definitely would. Yes. Yes. So, yes, we need, as you know, as many wheelchairs as we can get. We need as many crutches as we can get. You know, even if it's to volunteer with the organization, you know, to pick up stuff from particular areas.
Yeah.
So if you're calling us, okay, could you pick these up? You know, and we're not able to get that. Maybe we might even have a volunteer in your area who will be able to pick it up and then bring it to the storage place. You know, and then be able to transport them to where they're needed.
So
Yes.
how many shipments have you made now from Ireland to
We've
Nigeria?
made 3.
3.
Yes.
Right. And how
Full.
long?
3
Full.
full shipments.
brilliant.
Yes.
That's remarkable.
Brilliant.
Yes.
And how long does it take the ship to get in?
Okay, that's another challenge.
Yeah.
That's another challenge, you know. So it might take about 2 months to get
2
through.
months.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because
Does it
you know.
have to stop at ports along the way, or what?
Well, as far as we know, it will stop all the way in Nigeria.
Right.
But then again, when it gets to Nigeria, you still need to go through, you know, all the processing,
Ah, yeah,
you know, to be able to get the stuff out of the port. And then when you get it out of the port, you need to find a place to put them before you distribute them. You know, so these are the challenges that the organization is having at the moment.
Right. So you have plans to kind of expand the organization. You have a kind of a plan in mind to.
Yes, absolutely. So right now in Nigeria, we're looking for a place, a storage space again, so that when we ship down, we know exactly, you know, where those goods are, and then the people that are going to support the distribution are able to go there and pick them up. So even if we could get NGOs to come pick them up themselves, that would be so nice.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so if they could come there and pick them up, you know, and sign for whatever they picked up, that would make the job easier. But what we've been able to do in the past is, ship into those areas. Like I said, the North Central, we did collaborate with PADIN, so it's a poverty initiative in Abuja. So what we had to do was to transport from Lagos all the way to Abuja, and that comes with some costs.
Of course.
So you're hoping to coordinate with other NGOs?
Absolutely, yes. Other NGOs on ground who have similar, who are working on the similar issues. Yes. It's all about serving humanity.
Of course.
That's what this is about.
Especially when you don't have a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we're kind of coming to the end. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Joyce?
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Patrick. Thank you very much. So if you're out there, you're listening to us, please partner with us. You could even volunteer, we're a registered charity in Ireland. And so our address is Carmichael House, and then our website is www.ncgi-ie.org. So just New Chance Global Initiative or ncgi-ie.org.
And if people are out there and they have crutches or wheelchairs or anything like that, they don't use, that's the way to contact.
Absolutely. So just, look us up on the website. And if you have crutches, wheelchairs, other things, that can make people's lives better, please reach out to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce.
Yes, thank you very much.
Joyce. Thanks
it's been a
for coming
pleasure.
in.
Thank you.